Mr. Kagwabi, and all of us. To me, this is a great day. A great day because when we began, the government was not represented here very well. But now, we have really a lot of government representative here, which is really something good, something great, meaning that we are working together. That to me is great. You heard that I took leadership, studied it on what we call classic leadership, following Platonic order. That is Plato, who began the whole idea of leadership. I went to a school where this is taught and properly defined and properly owned. Leadership is owned by philosophers. And when people fail from that position, all other beings disintegrate. So leadership is central in all human endeavors, including this endeavor in which we are trying to cause a major change in our nation, so that our people can start thinking differently and behave differently. So I want to greet you all and say, Sijambo. The assignment here is leadership and governance. I'm sure you know very well that leadership creates governance, and therefore governance is expression of leadership. In actual fact, the term executive, which we refer to executive, needed a fresh definition, because it is the leadership. The policymakers and others interpret policies. And this is what we are doing here. Leadership is an exceptional talent. That's why all of us love it and we want to be associated with it. As an exceptional talent, it needs a lot of protection and care, because it can also get derailed and start functioning contrary to what it's meant to be and to do. So, the definition of leadership, so that you may really begin well, is the capacity to cause a change. If you are a leader and you can't cause a change wherever you are, you disqualify yourself from leadership. And not only a change, but transform, meaning that you are dealing with the attitudes now. It's not just physical, eating and drinking and dressing, and the cars and big houses. You are now getting into the deeper level of dealing with the attitudes, stereotype minds, so that you can think well. And beyond the transformation is formation, which is harder. For many years we talk about change. Now we're talking about transformation, and our institute, we have added this word, formation. That is, you are formed into a leader, called the beingness of a leader, which is very much lacking. One other definition of a leader is the capacity to stop a calamity, an evil spreading, ability to stop it from spreading, qualifies a leader to be a leader. And the two other English words which describe that is capacity to demand all that is good and to reject all that is evil. All those are definition of leadership at the philosophical level. We feel that we should work under some statement. We call it the fundamental statement. One is vision. What is the vision of the Leadership and Governance Committee in this venture? Is a principled and dignified leadership in Kenya. A principled and dignified leadership in Kenya. That's what you are looking for. What about the mission? To instill into leadership the dignity it entails. That is, there are so many leaders who actually don't fit to be leaders. We call them self-imposed leaders. You impose yourself into leadership. The next one is the objective of this campaign to us as a leadership team is to form a great leadership in Kenya, and there's a big difference between greatness and effectiveness. Greatness injects character into leadership. Effectiveness is anything. You can be a great leader of thieves. very effective leader of prostitutes. And in gangs. Hitler was one of them. He doesn't qualify to be a leader because he misled. And there is a lot of misleadership going on in our world today. But we also have ultimate objective of this. And that is to cause that change I mentioned earlier. What about the goals? Is that in this process, we'll do it extensively. In other words, we'll cover every square inch of this country, geographically. Then, comprehensively, covering the intensity of that training we're talking about. It's not loose, it's not one there, another one over there, and another one miles away. But the compactness of this presentation is also a consideration. And finally, in this, the goals we have is intensive coverage. That is the depth, ideological idea. You know that the political parties in our country have no ideology. You can change from this to that. If you're defeated there, you move to another, that kind of thing. You have no stand. And we are saying that we need to intensify this so that we can deal with this matter at a deeper level. So it's in depth. Ideological coverage is also necessary. The purpose, change, transform, and form a new Kenya of trust. The word is trust. December 21st, we ran a program, a seminar on trust. We invited all kinds of leaders, political, religious, and others. The cause of distrust in our nation is immeasurable. But no one thinks about that. I want to assure you, we'll run faster in this country and achieve much more and greater. What about the banking crowd? Why do all these things? One, erosion of public manner. We are mannerless. And I can assure you, go anywhere in our country now, there's nothing like ladies and gentlemen. We have failed to raise that level of Kenyans who can walk through the streets of Nairobi. I can assure you, you'll never see Mr. Kagwadi walking on the street of Nairobi. Because we have not developed that way, we have not developed the styles of behavior in our nation to allow the most beautiful women of our country, you'll never see them in the streets. Because we have failed to do that. So it's erosion of public manner and the national character. That is what actually this operation is all about. If we do that, I can assure you, we'll get somewhere. All other things may be well established. Teachers teaching, doctors doing their work, and all others doing their work well. But if leadership is faulty, nothing will move. Right now, we're spending a lot of time solving problems we have created, more than developing and doing what we are supposed to do because of that. So expectation, elect credible leaders in 2017. That is expectation. Give Kenya an assurance that our leadership is value-based. That what we elect in 2017, when they get to Parliament and the Senate and our counties, there will be people we trust. And we know they will not steal, they will fight against corruption well, and the corruption will come to an end faster. Instill national values to Kenyans. They will be part of that, and that is here the issue. So, let me define corruption. I wrote a book called When the Best is Corrupt. It was sold within a week, now you can't find it anywhere. We are revising it, and the new version, which is coming within the next 2 weeks in the market, is called The Incorruptible. So it is a corruption. Technically, actually corruption equals to the level of abuse of values in the nation. The more we abuse values, the more corrupt we become. And the more we instill values in our country, the more valuable we are, the less corruptive we become. So national values. We begin with the national anthem, which is in our constitution. There is also something called constitutional preambles. No one talks about it, but I tell you, it's so rich because it is Kenyans' vows. We vow. Then the 17 national values. And the whole idea of national values is to understand them, memorize them, accept them, receive them, internalize them, believe in them. Now we're getting into the ideological level of accepting our values in the 17, and adopt them and apply them. Right now we're talking about application, but it cannot enter into a system until we understood them, memorize them, accept them, receive them, internalize them. Now we're talking about how do we acquire knowledge. The national values is a subject worth learning, so that we can adopt it, accept it, internalize it, and use it. But before then, it won't work. No, the reason for this, the reason of studying the national values, the reason for internalizing them are a number. One of them is to convert values into virtues. A value is just an English word. Be honest. Be trusted. And anybody can talk about them. That's what all Kenyans are saying. So it remains a value according to the dictionary. But we want to move to the next level of practicing it until it becomes a part of our culture. That's your problem. That's the virtue now. So converting values into virtues is one. Two is inculcate value in the minds of and the hearts of our people. Three, instill values in education and our culture. Four, live values as a culture. Almost finishing. And finally, create a new Kenya free from all forms of bondage, ignorance, poverty, disease, and corruption. In conclusion, just through this piece of work, is that for this to happen, we know the problem and the solution. The time interval between the problem and solution. It expand or contract depending on the chaos in between. The less the chaos, the faster we move. And I think this campaign will establish that and will cause that to happen. So I want to finish by saying that this exercise should aim at enabling as many Kenyans as possible to have a stand as individuals, where you can say, I don't take a bribe. That is wrong for me. I don't do it. Until that is achieved, we will continue building on the foundations which are shaky and which cannot hold any stability. Asante sana, Mungu abariki.